Hello everyone, Benjamin Lindsay here, Senior Editor at Backstage, and we are joined today by Mr. Michael Arden.
Hey everybody.
Thanks for coming by.
Glad to.
Yeah, I know that this is not the ideal night to be making out to Brooklyn, so...
It's better than being outside.
Yes, better than being outside, certainly. You, of course, are fresh off a Tony nomination for directing Once on This Island. And this production in particular, I mean, across technical categories and lead actress and best revival, you have 8 Tony noms in all. How does that feel?
It's incredible. It's, you know, when you're making something, it's the furthest thing from your mind.
Right.
And we opened in the fall, so it's such an honor to be remembered, first of all, and to have gotten such a great response. And, you know, more than anything though, the audiences every night that come are still make me want to jump up and down.
Yeah.
So it's great, and it's wonderful to see like my collaborators be nominated for their incredible work, because if you've ever been through tech, you know how hard it can be.
Now, how long has this thing actually been in the works? I know that the actual idea was spawned quite a few years ago. But...
Yeah, but opening night of Spring Awakening, which I directed a few years ago, our producer, during the middle of the second act, said, "What are we doing next?" And after I got myself off the floor, I said, I want to do Once on This Island. So that was about 2 years to the date of us sort of saying, hey, we want to really pursue this in a real way.
Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, this production is just incredible, though, and the theater in the round, and the sand, and the use of water, and just it all comes together to feel so authentic and so unlike really anything that we've seen on Broadway, or at least that I've seen on Broadway.
Yeah, we wanted to give audiences a really fresh experience and a really honest experience of what, you know, we wanted to create an immersive Broadway musical, and I think we really did just that, and honoring the place we set it in and the show itself.
Yeah, and I read that you actually traveled to Haiti to prepare for this.
Yeah.
You and your set designer, is that right?
Correct.
Okay.
And our casting director, actually. So we actually held auditions in Port-au-Prince for the role of Timoon. But we went to Haiti because we were very certain from the beginning that we wanted to create an experience that really honored the people we were portraying, and were sort of unflinchingly accurate in how we portrayed the world, both sort of in methods of storytelling as well as in design. So we spent some time in Haiti and got to know people there and watched rehearsals for dance performances, and were able to really learn a lot and take a lot away from that experience. It's something I'll never forget. I hope I get to go back.
Yeah, and just looking to your last 2 Broadway productions, I feel like you have a knack for taking communities that we don't always see center stage and putting them on the stage, and obviously making efforts to authentically portray those communities. Is that something that particularly excites you as a theater maker?
Yeah, I mean, I think one of the things I love most about theater and about making theater is being able to create an environment or a community on stage that is incredibly specific. And oftentimes I think what's most interesting is a community on stage that is quite disparate from the audience. You know, it's I doubt many Haitians are at our show every night.
Right.
I hope there are. You know, or hearing audiences who came to see Spring Awakening. I think what's really wonderful about theater and what one of its magical properties is that you can do something that might seem miles away from the life you live as an audience member. You know, you can go to see something about a Haitian peasant who, you know, who was born out of the sea, and you might be like, I know nothing about this person's life at the beginning, and by the end, you hopefully recognize yourself in those people. And I think that reaching across that divide inspires empathy.
Yeah.
And I think that's what we are required to do. So I'm so happy that that's what Once on This Island is doing this season.
Yeah.
It's like really hopefully inspiring people to care for each other a little bit more.
Yeah, no, I should say so. I mean, this musical in particular has always had the ability to do that, I think, but especially in the way that it's approached this way, it succeeds in that mission. But look into some of the revivals that you've taken on. I can't help but notice just the very distinct creative flourishes that you put on the already existing material. So what really intrigues you about a existing piece of theater, and then what's the process like to be like, I want to put my own spin on this, I want to put my own signature?
I think first of all, I just have to love the music if it's a musical. I mean, it's like, it either gets you or it doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
You know, for me, it's like, I know the scores that I love singing, or that you know, when I'm singing alone in the shower, or
right.
or I love, you know, emotional pieces of theater.
Mm-hmm.
And I think music has a way that if good music can manipulate you, and then if you add a good story with that, it's sort of like there's nothing better. It's
right.
the highest form of art, you know. So I think I look for stories, and I'm excited by shows that somehow inspire faith
mm-hmm.
in possibly each other, if nothing else.
Yeah.
So that's sort of how I set about it. There's no real like, oh, I like shows written in this time period.
Right,
You know,
right.
it's sort of it varies. It ranges from West Side Story to Rent, so
right.
you know, which are actually somewhat similar.
Right.
But yeah, it was you know, I think wanting to pursue Once on This Island was sort of a surprise to a lot of people
right.
after Spring Awakening, because
yeah.
it's sort of quite different. But it sort of examines humanity in a way that I really find exciting.
Yeah, that underlying faith. That
Yeah, it's that faith.
like that.
It's like faith that, you know, we should still do the right thing, even if we might not see a return for it in our
right.
life.
Yeah. Now, people who are most familiar with you through your directing work might not necessarily know that your roots are pretty firmly planted in acting as well.
I have like read the Backstage magazine for auditions many a time.
There you go. Yeah. Have you?
Before it was a magazine.
Have you booked any auditions?
Black and white.
Black and white newspaper.
Black and white.
Remember those days?
I used to, when I grew up in Midland, Texas, and I used to like, the only connection to the outside world was Barnes and Noble, where I ended up getting a job my like junior year of high school or sophomore year, and they got Backstage magazine, and I would like buy it every week. It came out, but by the time it could get to Midland, Texas, like all the auditions and everything
right.
had happened.
Right.
So, but I sort of like pretended like, oh, I should be in that play.
Get him.
The play had already closed, actually. But
right. That's a pretty ideal high school job, though. Barnes and Noble.
Oh, it was the best high school job. I got a great discount. I knew where every book was. It was a dream.
Yeah.
Discount on Starbucks coffee. So.
Not bad.
The only Starbucks in Midland, Texas.
That is the high school dream, to say the least. But once you made your way to New York, you studied at Juilliard, and you began a career in acting, of course. What was that transition like from acting to the stage? What was the moment, if there was a moment?
To directing or to?
Yeah.
I mean, I guess the moment's still happening. But I was acting on a sitcom for a long time,
mm-hmm.
and I was really missing theater, and knew that I wanted to bring all my friends who were missing theater in LA together to make something. So I adapted this play by Arthur Schnitzler called Le Ronde
mm-hmm.
to do in a neighborhood in LA. We did it in Los Feliz, and this is very illegal. We should, like, the cops were called, no permits or anything, but we did the play in a backyard and in motel rooms and in alleyways and on the street, and it was really, really thrilling, and I pulled it together and coordinated it, and I think, you know, half of directing is just getting everybody in the same place at the same time and quiet for a minute. So we did that, and it was sort of like this aha moment.
Mm.
I felt it was so exciting for me to, and in this case it was all my friends,
mm-hmm.
To see these people that I so loved and respected do the best work they could, and and I loved being able to help them shine their brightest.
Yes, yeah.
Because a lot of times you don't get to shine your brightest, you know, and so it was really inspiring for me, and it just felt like a calling. Like, I want to help people be their best.
Yeah.
And hopefully people in the meantime will laugh and cry and go home and
Yeah.
sleep with somebody.
Yeah, that's the goal, right?
Yeah. That's my goal.
Yeah. Well, in terms of making that transition, I love that you're familiar with Backstage. You kind of know what we're all about. Our readership is the working actor. Our viewers are the working actors. What advice do you have for the actor who is wanting to kind of get behind the scenes creatively? I feel like so many people are told today, create your own work or do your own thing. So do you have any insight on that actual transition?
Create your own work and do your own thing. It really, like, I would accredit, like, my entire career as a director due to me being super unemployed as an actor. Because I worked in a gift shop in Los Feliz. This was before I was on anger management, and I was, like, super broke, super down and out, selling, like, incense and, weird jewelry that said, like, LA Lady, things like that. Like, at this gift shop, and behind the counter I said, I have to do something, so I wrote this script, and then called my friends. So I would say, use every moment as an opportunity to make something, and then ask people to do it and make it. And we, did it in an alleyway, and I see a direct line from that to where I am now. So I would just say, like, find your tribe of people and make opportunities to hold them and uplift them. Because by doing that, you will rise as well.
Yeah, I love
put your energy into someone else, and it's like the same as acting. Like, if you're nervous, just think about the person you're talking to.
Right. Now, when you do go through a dry spell like that, and you decide not to turn to directing, and you decide to kind of chug away at the acting career, how have you in the past kind of kept yourself afloat and pushed through that dry spell? It's an inevitable part of any acting career, really.
Yeah, I think friends are really important.
Yeah, community.
Community is incredibly important, and friends have helped me through really hard times, and my husband has as well. But it's, it's about faith, ultimately, about saying, hey, I have something to offer, and it may take a while. I mean, look at somebody like Steve Carell, who nobody had heard of before he was 40.
Right.
And so but while you're in it, it's a really tricky and difficult thing, because when you're an actor, you're like, oh, my work is me. If somebody says no to me, that's me they don't want.
Right.
But I've learned, being on the other side of the table, that it's usually just about, like, how tall someone is and if they look right with the other person. So I would just encourage people to keep trying and use every audition as an opportunity to do your best and challenge yourself. Yeah,
that sounds like a lesson that comes with a certain amount of experience in the field as well.
Yeah.
Now, being on the other side of that table, obviously sometimes it does come down to height differences or who looks good together. But is there anything kind of overarching presence that always leaves an impression with you in the audition room? Any good practices for actors when they're auditioning for you?
Yeah, I would say if you get a chance to do something a second time, there's usually a reason that the director wants you to do it again, and it's because he wants to see if you'll do something different. So I would say, like, really, if you get a note, make that 180 turn and go all the way and play the note, because it's a date. You're seeing if you're like, yes, I know you like white wine, but do you want to eat dessert? Like, yes, eat dessert.
Right.
Go there. Forget the white wine.
Right.
So that would be, that's like something that I love to see actors who can really rehearse, because in my rehearsal I don't want to see it the same way every day. So
Right.
it's just like a gateway to that.
Yeah, of course you go into an audition with a certain preparation, probably, and a certain idea of what you want to do in there, but you also need to show yourself as a collaborator.
Yeah, and if you've done it one way once, then you've done it one way once. Then it's done.
Yeah. Well, as a final question for you, I know this was a quick and easy Q&A. Thank you for sitting with us.
Happy to be here.
Again, our early career actors are the ones watching out there. What is one thing that you wish you knew when you were first getting your start?
I wish I knew that I would know and work with people again and again and again and again, and that I would realize early on that we are all a family trying to support each other, and so we should look ahead and not sideways. It's not a competition. It's a group of people who will support and challenge and inspire each other. So love your fellow man and help them achieve the goal, and you'll do just fine.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Michael.
Thank you.
And thank everyone for tuning in. If you're in New York, stay dry.
And come see Once on This Island. It's dry in there.
Of course, come see Once on This Island. We'll see you next time.